Okay. We made the short, but the Brothers Karamazov is not. Make a short talking about it. Come on. 800 pages? The fans want a deep dive, and that's what I am. Scorpio, depth, deepness. I had to look your boy up, Fyodor Dostoevsky. Halfway through reading it, let me check my boy's sign. Oh, yeah, Scorpio. Come on. Next question. Okay, yeah, lifelong nonfiction reader. This was the very first novel I've read outside of like random stuff you read as a kid and maybe like a few other, but they'd be like spiritual novels, The Alchemist or stuff like that. This was the first, like, yo, I'm a writer, I'm a top 10 writer, and I'm gonna shove it down your throat type book. And I took it. But no, honestly, nonfiction, you can sit there and you can just have your rational, logical, left hemisphere brain just tapped in the whole time. Oh, yeah, X is Y, X is Y. This immediately, I was like, oh man, X is Y brain alone will not cut it. You have to submit to the soul of the writer, whereas nonfiction, you can just read it, you can kind of stay. This one, I realized right away, I need to, first of all, get such a focused presence and be in that pocket, but also a layer of submission. Whereas I feel like bringing in that right, more loose, free flowing hemisphere of the brain to allow yourself to be entranced and to be channeled into the soul and energy of the writer. In nonfiction, it never hit me on like deep spiritual texts had done that, but those are more of like still talking X is Y. A writer who's writing, who's just doing it, made me just, as I said, get channeled so much into their soul. And the way I started to think about it is like a lot of nonfiction books or like spiritual texts or, yeah, just any books in that realm. Someone's usually going out in the world, learning something, really becoming proficient in something worldly, and then getting experience from it and then writing about it. Whereas a top 10 writer, just a critically acclaimed classical literature phenom as Fyodor Dostoevsky is, they weren't going out in the world learning someone, they were chiseling their own soul. In his case, the spiritual depth, the psychological depth, that scorpionic depth he was going to and channeling, he was solely putting it into writing, creating characters, creating the dialogue of these characters, the depth of it. And that is where it hit me like, oh, I've been listening to local cover bands my whole life, and now I just heard the Eagles, Michael Jackson, Prince, Fleetwood Mac for the first time. That was like, I was like, oh, so nonfiction, you're getting like that, but then when you get someone whose life is that and who's one of the best at doing it, it just transformed me. The presence it took for me to read that, and just like I couldn't have a mental lapse while reading it, or I immediately have to go back. I'm like, okay, no, there's one you had to stay so channeled to, and you just channel the energy of this man. And wow, 19th century Russia, what were they doing to produce such good authors? First one I've read, so obviously I don't know much of the others, but I've looked at the other ones. Lolita is on the list, Anna Karenina, I'm starting later today, Tolstoy, want to get into him. Like, what was going on over there to make them write the level of love needed to depict the characters of Alyosha and the Elder Zoshma is just insane. And it also made me think, like, the FIFA World Cup's going on, and I feel like so many outside people were coming into America and be like, whoa, it was painted in this bad light. But America's a great place. Like, I feel like being in America, Russia's painted a certain way as well. Like, I was reading Bob Dylan's Chronicles, his memoir, autobiography, And he was saying when he was in class growing up, they used to have a siren go off in class, and all the kids would have to jump under their desks and hide there because it was a Russian invasion warning. He was like, what? He was like, his dad was over there like buddy buddy with Russians in the war. Like if his dad would have heard that, he would have been like, what the fuck are you guys? The fear mongering's crazy. And I think same thing, like you still even today hear stuff about like, oh, Russia, and people are like, oh, whoa. But if they're writing on this level, who around the world is on that level of love? I think Russia is just painted as just as bad of a light, you know? That's one thing I realized while reading it. But yeah, the psychological depth of this book, it's not one where you're like, oh, the plot, like, here's the plot, let me tell you about the plot, like a lot of animes, you know, like I'm not about to sit there and talk to someone about the Vinland Saga. Oh, the plot, he was on a farm, it was great. It was the depth of the characters, the depth of which they spoke every word he writes. Like once I heard Nietzsche said that what he writes in one page, the depth of it, it takes other authors a whole book to get there. Same with Dostoevsky. Every word written, it was just so serious, so intense. So you're just kind of hanging on every word. It's so powerful. Each word said carries so much weight. Like, it's not poetic, or some people are like, oh, the green grass looked so beautiful, and this, like how you can just kind of speak from the mind, and it's just like this, every word, everything was so deep in the depths of it. The appreciation for classical literature is on. I'm a changed man. It's cool that I've got into it so late. It gives me so much to look forward to now, as life was growing so dark and dim, and entertainment today is just so bad. Movies, terrible. It's all terrible. The luxuries of life have dimmed the soul, the depths of the soul. You've entertained too many of the luxuries of today, and you get lost in the depth. You got to stay in the suck. And I guarantee this man stayed in the suck. To be able to write as deep as this was, got to go back to the classics, you know. Anna Karenina, I'm going there next. God bless. I looked up and he was a Virgo. My dad and my sister are Virgos. I'm very in tune with them. They are much more worldly, very good at that. So I imagine this, the psychological depth of a Scorpio and the way this was written took me to such a depth, but I imagine that. And I've seen that he is kind of the man who paints a inner psychological depth, and Tolstoy is the master of painting worldly scenes. So I'm excited to move on to that. And I even flipped to a page sneakily. I know you're not supposed to, but I just flipped to a random page and read like 3 sentences, and I was like, oh, it was just cool. The flavor was unmatched. I was like, wow, yeah, the adjectiveness flavor was flavoring for sure. Do I have anything else to hit on this book? I mean, my good friend Kateri and me are reading some books, and she asked for a breakdown of it. I'm like, it's not when you give a breakdown of, you know, it's not like, as I said, the plot of it is this or that or that. It's the depth of the characters. If you want to just touch into a deep part of your soul and you've read every spiritual text and you're like, oh, I just need something. I need almost like an example of pure living love. It's about as close as it gets. This and Abraham Lincoln's Team of Rivals biography, goodness gracious, I'm doing a book review on that next. That man, closest embodiment to living the highest version of love I think I've ever seen on anyone. Book review of that next, because goodness gracious, that man deserves his flowers. I know he's got it, but he's getting more, you know. He's getting more. All right. Well, that's about it. New book review series, amongst other things. Anna Karenina next. We out.